What is going on, guys? And I hope you are excited as I am, as the 2021 NFL Draft is tomorrow night. So, of course, today, the day before the draft, we're going to be squeezing in one last 4-round mock for our Dallas Cowboys. Yesterday had the pre-draft presser as well as the official announcement of the retirement of Sean Lee. Some stuff brought to our attention, of course. Some of the information you get in those pre-draft pressers you have to take with a grain of salt because a lot of smoke screens being thrown out there. Don't want to put all your cards on the table just yet. Definitely want to have some stuff hidden up your sleeve, and I think Jerry is notorious for doing stuff like that, getting some stuff in the media that may not all be 100% true. So with that being said, we are going to try and pick through that information and apply it to this 4-round MAC and see what we can come out with on the other side. Definitely don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Can't thank you guys enough again for that 2,000 subscriber mark. And as always, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and let's go on and get into this final Dallas Cowboys 4-round mock draft. Getting into it, let's see how the draft falls our way. Plenty of these picks as expected. Do have Rashawn Slater falling to us. The Lions may be surprising some people here in going with Devontae Smith instead of that of a guy like Rashawn Slater. We know they could definitely use to beef up that offensive line. But also, Panthers going with Trey Lance, definitely an interesting pick there. Not surprised too much to see the Broncos going with defense. Definitely could have seen them go Surtain there, though. So it just really comes down to Rashawn Slater. Is this a guy that we think we're going to take at the 10th spot if he's there? I know it's a guy that the front office and obviously anybody who runs a football team will like, but it comes down to, okay, well, we definitely restructured the contracts of Tyron Smith and Lael Collins under the assumption that they are going to be our starting tackles for at least the next 2 to 3 years. So if Slater does come in, he would likely take over that left guard spot for that of Connor Williams. And is that more of a position we need to address than that of a corner spot? I honestly don't think so. While I think Slater is a potential All-Pro talent, really anywhere across the offensive line, I do think the position of corner is a position that needs to be addressed more in this draft, and especially so in the early rounds. So here, of course, we're going to have our pick of Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. Those are the two guys I'm looking at the 10th spot if I'm going with a corner. And for a while, I was Patrick Surtain here. For a while, I was like, all right, Surtain's going to be great in this cover 3 Dan Quinn scheme. He's a guy that is extremely athletic, great footwork, great technique, will go up and attack the football and cover really, really well down the field, which is what you would like to see in a cover 3. However, there was something pointed out at yesterday's presser that I don't think was getting as much attention as it should have, and that was that Mike McCarthy said, hey, we want to be aggressive on defense. We're looking to run a lot of man, and in fact, more man than zone. Not something you would typically see out of a Dan Quinn scheme. And like I said, guys, a lot of these pre-draft pressers, some of the things they say could definitely be some smoke screens. So maybe we're wanting some people to think that we're going to take J.C. Horn at this 10th pick. And maybe a team like the Giants or Eagles like him enough to where they'll trade up in front of us to try and get him. So I don't know. I really don't know, but if I'm being honest, I think J.C. Horn does have the higher ceiling, and if there is truth to this, we are going to run man more. J.C. Horn is the guy that I want up there pressed up across the field from Trayvon Diggs, who we also know is a guy that can be solid in the press. So if we can have a corner on each outside, each perimeter of the field that can get in your face and press you and be physical at the line of scrimmage, I think we'll be in a really solid spot, at least at the corner position. So if this is the case, I'm going to want to go J.C. Horn here. I do think that Surtain may have more success initially, and there may be somewhat of an adjustment period for J.C. Horn, not be too grabby, not be too over-aggressive, but that's a risk I'm willing to take if we are going to run a lot of man. J.C. Horn is going to be my guy. So definitely going to go with him at this 10th spot here. You will see Surtain falls to the Eagles, something that I'm definitely looking forward to. It's going to be very similar to the Dak versus Wentz deal. They're playing each other twice a year. So I think between Horn or Surtain, depending on who we pick, the other may definitely go to the Giants or Eagles. And there is going to be that constant comparison of J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain, which one was the right pick. and they're always going to be going back and forth with those two guys as to who's better. Now, getting into our first pick of the second round at the 44th spot. For me personally, I'm still going to want to attack the free safety position. I know we just brought in DeMonte KZ, but he was on an extremely cheap deal. A guy you signed to a one-year deal to come in and be like, hey, if you can do this job, great. I know you're coming off that Achilles injury, something that's always hard to come back off of as a player that typically will rely on their speed getting sideline to sideline in that deep center fielder position. So you bring him in on a one-year cheap deal, be like, hey, if you can do this, great. Hey, if not, we're still going to go in the draft and grab a guy like Richie Grant here who can come in and be that day one starter if we really need him to be, or can develop into that starting role throughout the season. We know we have the safety of KZ, no pun intended there, if Grant does need some more time to develop. But for me, it's kind of a no-brainer here. Richie Grant is my guy at the safety spot behind that of Trayvon Moehrig, who, of course, is not here at this 44th pick. So Richie Grant's going to be my guy. Comes downhill, hits hard, aggressive on the football, can be that guy that you can put up top in a cover three and get sideline to sideline and make plays on the football for you. So this one's kind of a no-brainer at this spot if Richie Grant is there. Even though we went secondary in the first round, I do think free safety is still the position that we need to address. I don't think KZ is going to be the long-term answer, obviously, and I don't think he was brought in to be that. So Richie Grant, this is my guy. Could not be happier to see him here, and I'm definitely hoping if he is there, after we go corner in the first round, that he's our guy to pick. Going down the board, we'll see Aleem McNeil unfortunately get taken off the board. If he was able to fall to us in this third round, that would have been great. Didn't really expect him to do so. He's a guy with a lot of potential. So let's go ahead and see what we have in his place available in the third round. And this is actually just looking, this is going to be a pretty tough one for me. I didn't think I saw Kelvin Joseph or Milton Williams come off of the board here. And at the 75th pick, these are two guys that I would definitely like to see available as options to pick here for the Cowboys. Starting off with Kelvin Joseph, this is a lightning fast guy who is aggressive on the football and will make plays, honestly, all around the field. There was a pick six. I can't remember who it was. I believe it was against Tennessee or something, where he wasn't even in that great a position on the route. It wasn't even necessarily a bad throw by the quarterback, but just because of how quick he gets off of his heel and into the receiver coming downhill, he was able to pick it off and take it to the house. And if you can look up his highlights and watch it, it really just shows you how explosive this guy can be when attacking the football. Of course, there's some off the field, on the field issues. A guy that's definitely going to be cocking in your face, which I love at the corner position, but it does get him in trouble occasionally. And I don't know. This is a tough one. We already went corner in the first round, so do we stack corner here, or do we dress another position of need in the interior? And while Milton Williams isn't that huge 325-pound guy that we would love to have at the one-tech spot, of course the one-tech spot seems to be more of a position of need for us than the three-tech spot. Seems like with Gallimore and Tristan Hill, we kind of already got our three-tech guys there, but Milton Williams has so much upside, so athletic for a guy of his size, and has the burst and ability to get into the backfield really, really efficiently against the run. Could definitely use some work on his pass rush if this is a guy that we take here at this spot. Definitely going to be a project guy, but I think a guy just with his speed and strength has a lot of upside. Of course, does not have the mass of a guy that is going to be filling holes in the one-tech spot, crushing stuff up the A-gap, but I do think he is a guy that could be very, very solid against the run, even if it is at the three-tech spot. And of course, with Gallimore's size, he is a guy that we could hopefully transition and see start to excel more at the one-tech spot, so that would be another risk that we'd be taking there. I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I do think J.C. Horn would work out, so do we need another outside corner? I don't think so. Of course, having the depth there can't hurt, but especially so with the departure of Tyrone Crawford, I do think adding another three-tech, a guy that could maybe transition into one-tech if we put some weight on him. He has the upside, has the potential, has the power and the speed, It's just refining those tools, and I think if our coaches are able to do that, we could have ourselves a superstar. So Milton Williams is going to be my guy in the third round. I hate passing up on Kelvin Joseph. Trust me, I really do. And hey, by the looks of it, he might fall to us. I don't think I've seen him get picked yet. I could be wrong about that. And we still might be able to take him. And hey, look at that. Look how that works out. So, hey, if it can work out like this to where we can still get Kelvin Joseph here in our second pick of the third round, then that is great. Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me on this one. If Kelvin Joseph falls to the 99th pick, I sure as hell would like this Dallas Cowboys team to draft them. So I won't waste your guys' time. I was already getting into Kelvin Joseph a little bit. Just a fast, aggressive corner that has so much upside. I cannot tell you guys enough what I think this talent could be. And yeah, I would love to see us get him at the 99th spot. Now getting into the 115th pick. Definitely intrigued by that of Davis here. Davis is a big boy. I think he's about 6'3", actually. Takes up a lot of space over the middle of the field, but also has the athleticism to add on to that. Davis is a guy that I think would be a lot higher on many people's boards if he just had more experience. He's a guy that's only started 11 times in his college years, so I think a lot of people are holding that against him. But seeing the potential, the lateral quickness, the ball skills that he possesses, the ability to stop the run, fill gaps, evade blockers, even blitz, get after the quarterback, is everything that you want in a linebacker. He just has to start seeing the field a little bit better, and I think with experience and snaps, that's going to come to him, and he'll be able to all put it together and be a really, really solid force over the middle of the field. And of course, with the retirement of Sean Lee, adding even more depth to this linebacker spot is always going to be a plus. You never know with the neck of Leighton Vander Esch how 100% he's going to be. With the play of Jalen Smith, how he's going to be this year. Hopefully the scheme change will help out with that. But I definitely think it is urgent for us to add to this linebacker position in this draft. And had a couple of guys I not liked in the second and the two picks we had in the third round. I probably would have gone linebacker earlier, but seeing Davis fall to this spot in the fourth round is definitely going to be a guy that I would want our Cowboys to take here. And that's really going to be a no-brainer, especially so with the departure of Sean Lee. He has a lot of potential, and that's kind of a common theme you've seen so far in this draft is there's a lot of guys that may not have the ability to make an impact on day one, but I think with the right coaching and the just getting snaps, really, these are plenty of guys that can make an impact. Hell, even at the halfway point of the season, I think they could start to maybe find their groove and be really, really solid forces on this team. Speaking of that, of Kelvin Joseph, Milton Williams, and that of Davis. Getting into the last pick of this mock draft and our final pick in the fourth round. Definitely some intriguing guys here, just in the top three picks that we're seeing on our screen right now. And just looking at these top three guys, that of Johnson, Green, and Gowan, I feel like we already addressed the free safety spot in this draft and already have our starting free safety, and Demonte Casey, and hopefully can work Richie Grant into that role eventually. So Jamar Johnson doesn't really seem like a necessary pick. Tay Gowan already addressed that corner spot, of course, with that of J.C. Horn and Kelvin Joseph. Kendrick Green, a guy that I like, don't love, could definitely come in. I don't think he's an instant starter. Don't think he would start over Connor Williams. But he has the side. He has the athleticism and explosiveness. Just maybe needs to work a little bit on getting his hands in the right spot. Being better just overall as a pass protector. Solid guy in the run game, though, and definitely could work him eventually into the starting role if he's able to put the pieces together, because I really don't think Connor Williams is the future, if I'm being quite honest, so adding another guard in this draft would not be the worst idea. The guy that I'm going to be looking at here, though, is Jalen Darden. And I already know what you guys are saying. Really? Another receiver? Don't we arguably already have the best receiving core in football? And yes, that's not taking anything away from Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, or that of CeeDee Lamb, or even Cedric Wilson. But Jalen Darden's one of those guys, like Tyree Hill, that gets drafted in one of the later rounds and ends up being a stud because of his speed and his nose for the end zone, really. He's not going to be a guy that you're going to send over the middle on crosser routes, getting killed by linebackers or anything, putting him up for contested catches. But if you can send him deep, get him some room over the top and across the field, he's a nightmare for safeties, honestly. This is a guy that had 31 touchdowns in his last 21 games with North Texas. So you know he has a nose for the end zone, can bring him in on punt returns. He has blazing speed, and while it may not have showed on his 40 time at 4.46, you can sure as hell see it on the field if you watch this guy's tape, and could definitely be a day 3 steal for the Cowboys. A gadget kind of player, a guy that you want to get the ball in space, and could be a very, very big X factor for this football team if we're able to bring him in and get him the ball, in the right situations. So if he's here, I'll have no problem if the Cowboys go Jalen Darden here, a guy that I think could be a huge sleeper in this draft and is getting overlooked a lot because of his size. Well, I forgot to set this draft to 4 rounds only, so we got some extra picks in there. Got Stone Forsythe, Kyrus Tonga, Jamie Sherwood, and Deontay Smith. A little bonus for you guys there. Stone Forsythe, a solid guy out of Florida. Definitely a guy who could come in and be a solid tackle. Kyrus Tonga, big boy out of BYU. And then just some filler picks at safety and tackle to finish out this draft. So let me know what you guys think of those picks as well. PFF, looking at what they graded us here, did not love the Milton Williams or Jalen Darden picks. Definitely want to hear your guys' opinions in the comment below on those 2 selections there, as well as the rest of the draft, where you would have gone Horn or Surtain at the 10th spot, what you think the right pick is there if Surtain and Horn are both available tomorrow night for our Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, guys, really, really excited for this draft and to see what our team is looking like on the other end of it. Like I said, definitely don't forget to subscribe. Going to be doing a lot of post-draft analysis and just really getting into what this team is going to be looking like scheme-wise, just depth chart-wise, and really where I think we'll be standing in comparison to the rest of the league heading into training camp. Maybe taking a look at some other positions that we could potentially address if we don't hit corner as hard as I think we're going to in this draft. Richard Sherman's always still available there, so definitely could be a guy that I could see us bringing in if we don't go as hard on corner as I think we're going to. Yeah, once again, guys, thank you all for stopping by. Definitely comment below. Let me know what you think of all this. And, yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that tomorrow night goes at least somewhat according to plan, but you never really know with Jerry Jones and the Jones family. All right, guys, thanks again for stopping by. I'll see you on the next video.